I received 4 signed books, a book that's worth more than £100, 4 audiobooks, and received 3 digital arcs. Let's talk about all the books I have received recently. Hi guys, and welcome back to another book haul. Since I did my last book haul, I have hoarded another 12 books across various formats, and I have received some exciting signed books, some arcs, and some fancy special editions. So, let's talk about the books I have bought or received. First up, we have some audiobooks. I didn't go absolutely crazy this month on Audible, even though they had some really great sales. But I decided to pick up Skysworn and Underlord, which are book 4 and 6 in the Cradle series by Will White. I read Unsold, which is the first book in this extremely popular indie fantasy series last month, and I thought it was decent. It didn't blow me away, but I definitely want to continue the series. There are definitely some issues with the first book, but I have heard that it does get better. These books are also nice and short, and I'm expecting to read the whole series eventually, and these 2 books were on sale, so I thought, why not? I'm probably looking at reading maybe one of these books in between bigger series throughout the year. We will see what happens, but that's my plan for now. I also picked up The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb on audio. I often read books in my backlog through audio since I constantly receive new arcs that I need to physically read. So I usually read my arcs physically and my backlog on audio. I read the first book in the series last month and I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. And I'm now continuing this trilogy with The Mad Ship. It is very good so far. I'm a bit more than halfway through Mad Ship, and it is fascinating. Hobb is adding more plot lines and POVs, which is making the plot significantly more complex, which is fantastic. Even though I haven't finished it yet, I would recommend checking out the Live Ship Traders trilogy. It has been fantastic so far. So let's talk about digital books. I actually didn't buy any digital books, which I'm really proud of, but I did receive a couple. Firstly, I received an arc of The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is without a doubt one of my favorite reads of 2022 so far. I have made a dedicated review for that book, so make sure to check that one out, but long story short, I gave The Hunger of the Gods 5 stars. It was absolutely fantastic. I also received an arc of The Light Giver by Mike Slade, which is an indie fantasy book that's being released later this year. I read this book and I thought it was alright and gave it 3 stars, which is an average rating. If you didn't know, then I'm trying to read at least one indie book per month, and Light Giver was the book that I chose to read last month. I will be posting my full review for that one on my blog. Lastly, I received an arc of The Warrior by Stephen Arian, which is the second book in the Quest for Heroes duology. I read the first book last year, which was The Coward, and gave it 4 stars. I thought The Coward was a fun quest type of story, and I'm therefore looking forward to reading the conclusion sometime later this year. Fun fact, Angry Robots were one of the first publishers that sent me a physical book after I started reviewing books, which was The Coward, so Angry Robots definitely holds a special place in my heart. Also, they're really funny on Twitter, so make sure to follow them there. And no, I'm not being paid to say that. Alright, let's get to physical books. Okay, the first one is absolutely crazy. I was able to find another copy of Words of Radiance, the UK edition, in almost perfect condition for only £15 online. This book is near impossible to find in great condition for less than £120 online, so I had to snatch up this one when I found it for only £15. I'm not sure what to do with this book, but I couldn't say no to a bargain. I read The Way of Kings in December and I loved it, so I'm definitely going to continue the series sometime soonish. By the way, what is the fantasy community's opinions about the Stormlight Archive covers? Do most people prefer the UK or the US covers? I am a sucker for white covers, but the US covers are so colorful and vibrant, so I'm not sure which ones I prefer. Then I also found another Brandon Sanderson book that is really difficult to find. I was able to find a hardback edition of White Sand Volume 1 by Brandon Sanderson for only £20. And I had to buy that as well because this book is near impossible to find at a reasonable price online. Most people sell it for more than £100 and you basically can't find the first volume anywhere. I actually don't have much interest in reading this one since I don't feel that drawn to graphic novels. Moreover, a lot of people have told me that this book is just average. However, this graphic novel is by the king himself, Brandon Sanderson, and it's also set in the Cosmere, which makes me a bit more interested in actually giving this one a try. There are a total of 3 volumes in this series, and I believe Sanderson has said that he will publish an omnibus with all 3 of these sometimes in the future, so that is really exciting. If anyone has read this, then let me know if it's worth reading. And yes, we do have some special editions and some signed books as well. Firstly, I received a special edition, which is quickly becoming one of my all-time favorite special editions, and that is the Goldsberg Edition of The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan.
Wow.
I've talked about this book many times, so I won't say much about it except that I loved it. It felt so unique and it was a great joy to read it. I gave this one 4.5 stars, and I'll link my video in the description down below if you want to hear my full thoughts on this book. However, I'm really excited about this edition since it's signed and numbered and it has these beautiful sprayed edges. It's always exciting to have special editions of a book that you love, so I'm definitely planning on keeping this one. I've now been subscribed to Goldsberg for 6 months and this is definitely my favorite so far. Then we have 2 random signed books that I only picked up because they were on sale.
Look at me, I'm too impulsive.
Firstly, we have a special editions of Scythe by Neil Schusterman. Is that how you say it? This edition has beautiful sprayed edges and it has a signed book plate. I have heard mostly great things about this book and this was on sale, so I just bought it. I believe this is young adult, so it might not be for me, but we will see. If you read this one, then let me know if it's worth reading. I have definitely heard a lot of great things about it. Secondly, we have Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs, and this edition is also signed. I only picked up this one since it was on sale and it had free shipping. However, little did I know that this is book 3 in a series, so now I have this random signed book. Being impulsive is definitely not a good trait. I'll probably have to unhaul this book because I don't think I'm going to read it, and it's book 3. I'm so stupid.
You're being stupid.
Last but not least, we have The Scorching Stone by R.D. Nell, which is an indie book that the author very kindly sent to me. I love this cover so much. It's so vibrant and I just love the art style. I had no idea when I would get to this. I actually told Neil that I couldn't promise that I would read it since my schedule is so busy, but he still wanted to send it to me, so thank you. I'll put up the synopsis here, so you can pause the video if you're interested in knowing more about this book. It's definitely a book that is on my radar. And that is it. What did you think about this book haul? Did you spot any favorites? And as always, thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.